Frontline with Kortney Kenny, and I'm Tom Parisi, and today we got a great set of guests. Semi-live from my renovated basement. I'm Tom Parisi. He's Kortney Kenny, along with the most recent, I guess, in a way, draft picks of our North Bay Battalion. Not this draft, but the one before, 2020. Ty Nelson joins us for a second time, and so does Dalyn Wakely. Guys, we're really happy to have you back on the show this time around. And just moments ago, before we even hit record, we were talking about it's your first time both living away from home. What's it been like so far?
Wakes, go ahead, kid.
It's been great. My billets have been really good. I've known them for a year now, since I was supposed to come up last year, and it's just kind of like living at home. They treat me the same way, and I think that's the way it should be. Kind of set the rules early and the expectations, and I think it makes it pretty easy when you know what you're doing every night, and a busy schedule during the day with the team. So it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Same as Wakes there. I've known them for a year now. It's amazing. I love it here. My billets are amazing. You know what? Great place in a great area, and I love it. And you know what? They made it very comfortable. Like Wakes and his billet parents there set the rules and expectations early, so you know what you're going in doing day in day out, and it just makes it very comfortable and a home-like feeling.
It's been obviously said a million times. It's been a long time since you were both became members of the battalion, but you're finally up here. Getting in some training camps, some scrimmages in. What's it like to kind of finally start living the life of a North Bay Battalion player?
Yeah, it's unreal. You know, just coming to camp and then getting to play against all the boys, and then getting to be at the rink every day doing stuff, hanging out with the teams. It kind of makes you feel like things are going back to somewhat normal in the hockey world, somewhat. So it's been amazing, and I've enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah, like Ty said, I mean, it's only been like 2 weeks, I think, since I've been here. But and I know like 2 weeks ago before I came up, I was thinking like it's finally getting here. It's getting close, and now it's like I've been here for almost a year. It feels like the team's really come together really quickly, and the boys, I feel like I've known them forever. So I can't wait to just get the first puck drop when the regular season starts, and we're building towards it.
How fantastic was it to finally get back on the ice, though, at camp, get some scrimmages in, real gameplay for the first time in forever, it seems like.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, I was pretty fortunate enough. I went to the U18s and we got some games in there, but it wasn't the same. Like, you come here, it's high tempo, everyone's fighting for a spot, it's nitty gritty, you're getting smashed along the wall, trying to get pucks taken away from you. It was high tempo, and it was one of the hardest camps I've been a part of for sure.
Little humble brag there, eh, Nelly? Little U18. It's been really easy, I think, since the first day of camp, because you're so excited. Like Nelly said, it's been a year waiting to come up here. So I think the first time we had an exhibition game or a little inter squad game, it was really easy to get the legs going early, because I still have to prove myself every day. Trying to show the coaches, they picked me for a reason. So it's really easy to get going when it's been this long and much anticipated.
I gotta ask, I got one for you, Nelly, and I got one for you, Wakes. But the first one for you, Nelly, I gotta ask, you're basically like a general out there, getting the boys pumped out, or pumped up. And I remember the first scrimmage, it was a PK, and you're out there telling everyone where you want it. And I know, you obviously, like, people have seen you play before, but us in North Bay haven't seen it before. So just take us through your gameplay, and is that something that you take pride in, trying to, direct the troops, so to speak?
Absolutely. And you know what, I've been doing it my whole life, and it's just there during camp, we don't have, like, we're not running systems like we would normally with their teams and stuff. So it's just trying to create some sort of system, getting the PK out there, and then trying to get the puck down. So that's something I do. It's something to, like, even in practice, guys are confused. I'm normally the one that, like, they'll come to. Well, on my previous teams, then they'd ask me and I'd show them around. So I plan to continue it. And absolutely, it's just trying to get something going there in camp, especially on a PK, not playing for a year, long games. And then PK, you're killing, you're getting gas. So just trying to get the puck out, get some changes and stuff. So I tend to, like, just runs in the leadership that I like to bring to the table as well, and just helping organize the PK and showing guys where to go and stuff.
for those listening at home, Tom's basically a jungle gym right now with his dog over there. But
He just went
Wakes,
upstairs. He was
yeah.
like, screw this, I'm going home.
Wakes, the question I had for you is: you were on fire throughout camp, getting a couple of goals there, including one right over top of Joe Verbettick's glove on a clean shot. What was that like, getting some goals under your belt there early in camp?
Obviously it feels good. We were just Team Green was looking for the win every game, so anything I can do to help. Yeah, but especially when we played Joe, I mean, seeing him in the other end, it was a goal of mine to at least sneak one by him there, and I think I got two that game. So again, just trying to show who I am on the ice and put pucks in the net starting early, and hopefully build that towards the season as we go on here.
Gentlemen, both of you really took we'll say ownership of the last I'll say OHL draft, where you took it upon yourselves to welcome the guys to the team, even though you haven't played for the team yet. Take us through the decision to just do that kind of thing.
Like, I know for me, from my standpoint, when I got drafted, all the boys on the team called me and just welcomed me, and it was a great feeling getting to talk to all of them, and they made it feel at home, even though I was just drafted. And I felt like that's something I want to do to the other guys that are getting drafted, the younger guys. And it was amazing. I knew all three of our first rounders and some of the other guys along as well. So, and I just wanted to pass that down, pay it forward, what they did to me, and just help them kind of create that home feeling and make them feel welcome.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I'll never forget draft day after talking to Adam. A couple minutes later, Luke Moncada called me, and that kind of stuck with me over the entire year. Unfortunately, we never got to play with him, but just that leadership that he showed on that day, I think, stuck with me. And I kind of had an idea that I wanted to do the same thing leading up to the draft. And so I talked to Ty and talked to Adam, and they were lucky. We were lucky enough to be able to do that. And I think it just makes it easier, especially when you come up here. You're all moving away for the first time, us and the younger guys. So, on day one, it's easier to talk to the guys when you've already had conversations with them and gotten to know them a little bit. And that's all about trying to build our winning attitude up here, our winning culture. We want to be a tight knit group. And I think that started with day one on that draft. So
I wanted to ask, because the last time we talked to you, Ty, it was shortly after the draft, last summer. Last time we talked to you, Dalyn, it was a month before the season was canceled. So we haven't actually gotten your thoughts really about that when that all kind of came down. What was that like to find out that your rookie season was just going to get wiped out like that?
Go ahead, Wakes.
Well, I think it really, makes you understand and be grateful for all the amount of time that you had playing before, and then all the time that you have on your hands to get better away from the ice. I think once the season was canceled, it was kind of, it was easier to bear down and put your head down and work for a few months leading up to the season. But, we've talked about it time and time again as a group. There's so much time to get better personally, off the ice, on the ice. And everything in between that it wasn't really a bummer at the end of the day. I think I got better from it. And obviously, gameplay missed is unfortunate, but going into this year, I think it's just about moving forward and taking everything we gained in the last year and a half and taking the positives from it. And then just, pushing that forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Wakes there. Like, once the season got canceled, it was like, okay, it's like go time. You're prepping for next season. So same along what Wakes was saying. It's just, you can't look at it and be sad. That was my mentality. What happened. Now it's time to put your work boots on and go to work. So just using it as time to get better, time to work on everything in my game, and just trying to become a better overall hockey player, focusing on everything that I can to help prep me for next season. And even with COVID happening, we did a lot of team Zoom calls. So I got to know a few of the boys, and then we skated with them a few times, and it was amazing getting to see them again. But obviously it stinks, but I kind of took COVID as a loss-win situation, with the season being lost, but a win for having extra months to train and get stronger and get better. So just looking at it with a positive mentality and just try to make the best out of it.
It's a weird situation too this year where there's two classes of rookies. First off, have you guys ever been in something like that? And second, How do you handle it when you have more experience technically than the last guys who were drafted but still haven't played for the team yet?
No, you know what? I think it's none of us have been in this situation before, and it's all a learning curve. And you know what? The older guys have definitely helped step in and take us all under their wings and teach us and give us provide all knowledge that they have. And whatever I have, I try and just pass it down to the other guys. And it's not weird at all, honestly. I think it's helped us out a lot where you've combined as a team really well and we're gelling really well. And things are going great during practices and just off the ice workouts, hanging out with the boys. And you know what? It's weird, but it is what it is. You got to deal with it. And honestly, I think it's been going really well lately and throughout training camp and stuff, getting to know all the guys. And we've just come together. And I think, you know what, we're going to have a really good group of guys here.
Yeah, same here. I've never been in a situation where it's, two sets of age groups coming in and playing on the same team at the same time. But like Ty said, the older guys have really helped. I think that's the culture that, Coach Ryan and Adam have built here, where we want to, treat everybody equally. And I think that's kind of what we have in the room with the younger guys. I'm fortunate the 05s that we have around are all forwards. So every day we're having conversations, whether it's at school or on the ice after workout, just about little things, just talking hockey and stuff and trying to help each other get better. I think that's the competitive drive we have. And I think it really translates when when we're practicing and stuff, because you can really see the tempo.
I wanted to ask now, especially after the pictures that were posted of you guys up at Deshaney Falls and all that stuff on the hike, but you're finally in the area, for more than just a couple of days. You're here, for the season. And I know talking to Ty's billet dad, he's taking advantage of the boat pretty well. So I just wanted to ask, now that you guys are actually here, what are you enjoying about North Bay?
I love everything. Honestly, it's just coming from Toronto, it's always so busy and so packed. And like up here, it's nice, it's calm, and it's beautiful. Just sitting out back in my billet house some nights and just watching the stars are so clear. And it's just such a peaceful town. And you can tell everyone respects everyone. Like you're walking up and a stranger will say hi, how you doing? And it's nice. It's a great atmosphere. And honestly, it's a nice place. Like going to Deshaney Falls, it's a great hiking place. And I don't know if you guys know, but we went for a nice run up that nice hill there. You guys got there, got a good sweat on, went out to the sightseeing, and yeah, it was amazing. I love everything about North Bay. Honestly, some people tend to misunderstand it and misinterpret it because it's North Bay and it's so far away, but it's just another small, great hockey town, and I love everything about it.
Yeah, I've had so many people just shoot me a text asking, how's North Bay? And every time I love it here. Come the summertime, I don't know if I'll want to leave, to be honest, because I come from a small town kind of country guy, but this up here is the next level. And I really enjoyed this past weekend. Me and my billets, we went up, they have a hunting camp, and it's just wilderness all around us, nice and calm. And that's the stuff I love away from the rink. So, like Ty said, the small town kind of feel to it is great. And everybody's so, what's the word? Everybody's so, polite to you and willing to do anything for you. And, that's kind of what I love about here.
I wanted to ask, October 7th is coming up pretty quick. It's the home opener for the battalion. Yeah, of course, you have the preseason games here where fans will be in attendance, and same with the scrimmages, but it probably won't be to the level of the home opener. What are you guys looking forward to most actually getting you highlighted touched on it a little bit earlier about it being excited for puck drop, but what are you guys looking forward to the most when that puck finally drops against Peterborough?
Go ahead, Wakes.
Well, one of my good buddies is on there. We played hockey all the way up, so I'm excited to play him for the first time and maybe put him into the boards. But it's so, we've said it time and time again. We're just waiting for that puck to drop on October 7th is going to be such a big deal. And I mentioned it to Ty. In the camp, there was more people in the stands than I've had at a game my entire life. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like on October 7th with everybody in there. And hopefully, as time goes on, we can get more and more fans in there. But, I think our team is going to be ready for it. And no matter, how many people are in there, we feel the support. and we're ready to get going.
Yeah, same off Wakes. Is there a few of my buddies play on Owen Sound, so I'm getting ready to play them. Maybe put one through the boards like Wakes was saying. But yeah, it's just playing hockey again. Honestly, missing it for 2 years, and then now getting a puck drop, and you're starting in a new league, and it's amazing. I've been waiting for it for a year and a half, however long it's been. But yeah, just getting to play again, getting to play in front of the fans, and then getting to play with the boys. And you know what, like Wake was saying, we're coming together really well, and we're gelling, and we're going to be ready, and we're going to be a good team this year. And I'm super pumped and can't wait to get started.
Fellas, have people recognized you on the streets yet?
I think we've had a few stares, definitely driving by in the cars and stuff, and a few of the boys, and we're getting stared. You can see it sometimes, but I think most people are just like nice and respectful, and they're not trying to like make it too obvious and like point it out and scream names and stuff. But yeah, no, you've seen it a few times. I don't know about Wakes, but I have.
Yeah, funny story, but also I love it. I go into Subway one day just to grab a sub, and I've got my battalion sweater on, and the ladies were talking about hockey, and then she's like, "The subs on us today," and I was like, "Yes, like awesome, I love this." But yeah, it's I don't want to look for that stuff. Free subs, I can pay for the sub, but yeah, I have stuff like that. People waving to me, like girls on the schoolyard. I have no clue who they are, and they're just waving to the boys. It's like, come on, but it's great. I think that's the kind of the perks of living in a small town and playing for the hometown team. But I think the message we try to send is, don't let the outside noise kind of distract us from our goal. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that so far.
Have you
Dalyn
signed your
Wakely.
first autographs
Ladies
yet?
man.
What was that? Sorry?
Have you signed your first autographs yet?
No, I'm not.
Oh man, get on it. It's probably going to be Kortney. Let's be honest.
It's probably gonna be, yeah. I should have had you sign the score sheet there, Dalyn. Mr. Big Old, what was it, 94 on the day?
You didn't need to say it. I just say 94 is a little high.
Yeah. Well, it was better than what I shot at 99. I was just happy to break 100 that day, so we'll go with that. But look at you guys though, like going to Chippewa, starting at a new school and all that stuff. How tough is that? Because a lot of people will sit here and talk about, oh, they're hockey players, they're doing, they're doing what they want to do, but their school is a big aspect of it off the ice, and moving and all that stuff, during high school is a big deal. So just starting at a new school, what's that like for you guys?
I mean, I can't really touch on it yet because I have a spare first period. We're running Octomester, so so I can't really touch on that. I've just been grinding, driving school, and getting in the rink and get some extra work and stuff done. So I thought Wake's stuck on this one.
It's been great. We have like me and Van Steensel and a couple of guys in the same class, so we're all just sitting together, and actually a couple of Voodoo's guys as well that I know. They're from back towards my way, so just being in class with those guys I think makes it easier. But the day can definitely get a little long when you're at the gym before school, and then heading to school for a few hours, have lunch, head back to school, and then have 2 hours on the ice and stuff like that. It can get long, and I think that the last week was just kind of an adjustment period. But I think looking at the rest of the team, we've all handled it really well, and I think that's just kind of part of being a student athlete. You got to learn to time manage and know how to do that stuff. So yeah.
I know how you feel. I used to have a spare that first course. That was magic. That's the best thing in high school. You don't have to be there right at the start. That's magic.
Yeah, it's been pretty good getting because now you got workout groups. You got 2 workout groups, guys who are in school and guys aren't in school. So I'm going to the ones where the guys aren't in school. It's a little later. You get to sleep in a little bit more, and then it's a fun day. You get to go to the rink. You get to come home, and right now I'm just trying to like bust out all my driving school hours, get ahead on that, and while I can, just take advantage of it. And then you're back to the rink for practice, and what it's nice not being in school. I know that's not really what you want to say, but right now it's pretty nice not being in school because you get to the rink as like early and I can get a nice warm up in, or even a pre-practice workout, it's been awesome getting to get in there and just having the freedom to do that.
Wakes, are you gonna let Nelly get away with this? Not only is he humble bragging about the U18s, but he's talking about he gets to sleep in a little bit and everything.
Oh man. Well, I have like four spares throughout the year, so I'll get plenty of my time with that. But no, I thought I'd taken this first month off, but I like to have a little bit of strictness in my routine. This guy, I'll let him slack off a little bit. You can have the first one.
I obviously going to high school is a different time for me because there was no COVID, but so we had a 5-period day and we had 2 periods after lunch. So if I had we would always find out what, like, if the teacher wasn't there, you get a spare, right? So I would find out if we had a spare period 4, I wasn't going to period 5. If I had a spare period 5, I wasn't going to period 4. Sure enough, the attendance lady caught up with me about halfway through the year and said, "Hey, why are you missing all these classes?" So that was a moral of the story is go to school, kids. But
Stop talking about ditching school with the youngins.
Yeah, moral of the story. So definitely go to school. Well, guys, we got to really thank you for this. We really appreciate you guys coming on a second time for both of you, and we're really excited to see you actually in some game action that's not just scrimmages. So it'll be fun to get going here against Owen Sound this weekend, and then Ottawa the next weekend, and then Peterborough, just before Thanksgiving. Can't quite wait. I'm not a big fall guy, but I'm pretty excited for October this year. So
yeah, I think fall's become my favorite season this year, just because that meant hockey was coming. So no complaint here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all getting excited for it to happen. And we can't wait, and we're definitely gonna put on a show for you guys.
now we're pretty excited, and you know what, we're gonna hold you to that. And I'm not gonna come out and straight up say it, but Wakely gave me some personal goals this year that are a little lofty, and we're gonna hold him to it off the ice there. So
Come on, I heard you mention it on that other podcast.
oh, I would never. What are you talking about?
He listens. He knows
Yeah.
the shenanigans you get up to.
Oh yeah, I'll just throw him right under the bus. That's exactly how this thing's gonna go. All of it.
We're just looking for W's on the board. That's
There
all.
you go. There you go.
A big thank you to Ty Nelson and Dalyn Wakely for coming on the show for a second time each, first time together, and talking to us about everything in between. Next time they come on, I want to talk about driver's licenses. Nelly was talking about it, and I got to see what things are like nowadays. Because back when we were doing things, even the difference, I think, between you and I, it's probably a lot different. Like my teacher was so absent from everything going on. There was one guy who remember when Dodge Chargers came back out?
Yeah.
About 2000. It was the year I got my driver's license. I think it was 2006, 2006. No, 2005. Anyway, so this one driving instructor, there was like 3 or 4 of them. He bought a brand new black one, and everybody wanted him to be his driving instructor. But I went with the guy with the Volkswagen Jetta just because I knew nobody would pick this guy. So I'll just get any times I want, right?
Yeah.
So I take this guy, and at first, like we had 10 lessons. The first 4 or 5 were pretty routine, nothing out of the ordinary, very just cut and dry. But then apparently it's like he stopped giving a flying fart in space. So my family, my parents' house is in the north end of Timmins. So one time he picked me up, and he was on the phone with his wife, and he picks me up, and we just drive. And we drive to the far west end of Timmins, and we do some circles in some random streets. And then all of a sudden we get on the main drag, and we just keep driving. All of a sudden we're in a little town called South Porcupine, just east of Timmins. Tell me if that makes sense. And we're starting to get like to the outskirts of town. I'm like, he hasn't told me to stop or anything. He's just on his phone having this huge argument about his wife, or with his wife. At one point during the argument, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cincinnati Bengals came up. So I don't know what the hell they were arguing about. But it was just this long, dragged out argument the entire time in the car. And I just drove. And then at one point there's a set of railroad tracks kind of like edge of town.
Yep.
So we passed over those, and I pulled into, there's a baseball diamond just right next to him. So I pulled into the baseball diamond, pulled a Yui, and just casually started driving home. And he didn't say a word to me. This is like 20 minutes out. And another 25 minutes in, I drove back home, parked in the driveway, got out of the car. He just went like, just waved from his car seat. He wasn't an old guy. He was maybe in his early 40s. And he got around, jumped back in, still on the phone because it was legal back at the time, and just drove off. And that was my last driving lesson with him. Never saw him again.
Was that like your 10 out of 10? Like
that was my 6th. I had to do 4 more with 4 randoms.
Oh, weird.
I had to get jumped around. So every time was like, well, what do you know? What don't you know?
Oh, weird.
And
So
yeah, that was driving school.
Yeah, that's really weird. I remember I didn't want to get my license because I'm glad I did. Super glad. I love the freedom of being able to drive wherever I want and having my own car and stuff. But at the time when I was turning 16, you know, you get that. Oh, normally when you turn 16, you get the driver, you know, your parents pay for your test or whatever, and you go and get your license. So my mom and stepdad had paid for or wanted me to go get my license, but I was like, I'm not going. I'm not going because I'm awful driving on GTA or The Simpsons Hit and Run or whatever. And I was like, I'm just not, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Obviously, two very like different worlds from virtual to reality. But my dad for my birthday got me driving lessons with I can't remember the Young Drivers of Canada or something downtown North Bay. And there's a plug. So I went to the class without having my license because it was scheduled. And so I sat through the 2 weekends of classes, still didn't have my license. This is like mid-February, and my birthday's end of January. So finally I went and wrote my license in March, and I got it. And then I got my lessons, but the guy would pick me up from school at West Ferris. And he was the same guy that gave us like the in-class stuff, and I had the 10 lessons with him or whatever. And he was a really rough around the edges dude. Like, he was different. He always had, you know, stubble coming through, but it was patchy, and he always just looked like he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and was a little bit of a rough guy. I remember he used to reach over and grab the steering wheel and like jerk it around on me because, oh, you're holding on to it too tight or whatever. And but anyways, we had the same route every time, and we'd stop in Callender on the main drag. There used to be a 7-Eleven there, and he'd want to go out and get his coffee and stuff and have a smoke. And about 2 or 3, maybe my 4th lesson with him, we stopped, and he would always get out and have a smoke and give me the change for me to go and get the coffee. So I went in to get the coffee, and then I come out, and I'm like, keep in mind I'm 16, and he hands me a cigarette. He's like, you want to smoke? I'm like, no, I don't smoke. He's like, well, why'd you quit smoking and all this stuff? And I'm like, I've never smoked. Are you confusing me with someone else? Like, what's going on here, man?
I
Like,
think you should walk home.
Yeah. So I did actually finish my 10 lessons with him, but he was a little different. But the thing that's funny is outside of in front of our house here, I'm pretty sure there's driving students all the time, because for whatever reason they always stop in front of our place and do a 3-point turn. And there's like 2 people in the cars, and they got masks on, so you know it's what it is. Like, but why
It's
our
a
place?
very, very astute and very high class kidnapping.
Yeah.
Nice say, put your mask on, love. We're going to have a jaunt. Yeah.
But it's the weirdest thing. It's like, why is it always in front of our place? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so driving lessons. But then the other thing is, so I had my G2 for a few years. Well, so taking the driving lessons allowed you to get your G2 within 6 months or whatever.
Yeah, it shaves off a couple months, I think, of the wait time.
Yeah. My problem was the 6-month go around they were on strike, so I couldn't go for like a year and a half after I got my G1. So I went and got my G2 about almost a year and a bit later. Yeah, I got my G1 in March, and I got my G2 the next June. And then I just went through, and you know how you have like 4 years to get your G or whatever and all this stuff, but if you don't get your G, then you have to start over again. So I was coming up, it was September, and that coming March was going to be my 4 years. Went and did my G test, failed because I didn't do a shoulder check, or whatever, which is okay, whatever. But I was so mad. Like, I was driving home, I was so mad. I was like, you know, screw that guy and all this stuff. And it was actually just before the first ever battalion game, because I remember we drove by Memorial Gardens, and he was like talking to me the whole time, you know, like just kind of talking, like shooting casually. And I said to him, I was like, "Oh yeah, the Memorial Gardens, things look like things are happening here," and then he just stopped talking for the rest of the drive. I was just like, "Oh, okay." But anyways, yeah. So then I failed, which is also funny because I still have my G2, so I can still drive home unsupervised, but I'm not good enough for my G. Like you fail it, but okay, yeah, go home and drive yourself home. So then I waited and waited and waited, and I was so mad. And it comes to the end of February. I'm like, well, I should probably go and reschedule my G test. And they tell me, oh, we can't get you until March 25th. I'm like, well, my license expires March 20th. And they're like, oh, we'll give you a 5-day extension. So I thankfully got a 5-day extension. And if I had failed my G test that second time, I would have had to start all over again. Thankfully,
Oh,
I didn't.
God.
So yeah, that's my driving license experience. So
I
there we
should
go.
have known, but like the red flag should have been way up because like the fifth lesson before this crazy one, he picked me up in high school and he's sitting waiting out front. He's like, I'll be out front. All right. And I'm walking, I'm looking because the schoolyard had an extensively huge parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, oh, he must be waiting with the buses. So I'm looking up and down for this red, pinkish Jetta thing and nothing. Then I walk up just to maybe he's across the street at the swimming pool. And nope. He was, though, with the 15-year-olds having a smoke at the smoker's corner.
Nice.
So that probably should have been like a red flag.
Yeah.
But nothing. But I don't miss getting driver's license because
No.
well, what year did you get your full G?
Oh, geez.
2014?
Gotta be close to that. Yeah. Because
Things changed so much after me. So much. This used to be a podcast about hockey, first of all.
yeah.
But man, it changed so much. And like for instance, when I was doing the test, it started off at the Porcupine Mall, which isn't a mall. It's just a place where the giant tiger is in South Porcupine, which is in the east of Timmins.
Isn't that where the Mac is, where the Timmins Rock play?
That's in Schumacher. That's dead center.
Oh, okay.
I know it's not that.
I've
it's
never
not
been
that
to Timmins. I have never been to Timmins.
It's a lovely place in the summertime. Anyhow,
key.
I forgot what I was saying.
It changed so much. You went to the Porcupine Mall to do your license.
Oh yeah. Did you know you could actually? So there was two ways to get out. One, you drive straight and then take a left to the set of lights and then get on the highway, and you're out of the parking lot. But if you went all the way around, you could technically fail with shoulder checks and stops before you even left the parking lot. And the worst part
Really?
is they would make you like they wouldn't tell you. You just do the test whether you failed or not. So you would only find out once you got back how you did.
Yeah.
So you could technically have failed the test before you even leave. A lot of kids did.
Wow.
They don't do that anymore. My sister said they didn't. She's younger than me. She took the test after, but apparently that's been outlawed.
Interesting. I remember, so I was the only one in my friend group that got the G2 on their first go. And I remember no, but I remember producer Ben there, he failed his G2. So it was at the North Bay Mall where you do your driver test. And he was at the set of lights at the North Bay Mall, and he was done the test. Like he was coming back, like the guy was in the car and he was taking him back and everything. And he's waiting to turn left because he's facing down towards Marshall Park Drive. So he's waiting to turn left, and the light turns yellow because he's in the intersection. He doesn't have a chance to go. Light turns yellow, light turns red by the time he finally gets through, and he got failed for that. Figure that one out. That's such a weird thing.
My instructor was the coolest person. First off, it was back when you couldn't really connect. I had a 2001 Chrysler Neon. That's what I did my driver's test in. I love that machine. Anyhow, I had to have this rig in my radio so I could plug in the iPod, sorry, back in the day, because iPods were not meant to go with a 2001 Chrysler Neon.
No.
So I had this thing in, and it was very obvious. So she gets in the car, she's doing a quick safety check, checking the mirrors and such, and then she sees my iPod, sorry, and she starts browsing. She's like, "I like the tunes you've got in here," and she's like, "You may begin your test." And she starts marking stuff down. Then she just stops. This is for my G's. She just started flicking through. I'm like, you go ahead. You pick whatever song you like. I'll be here doing whatever you tell me to do. And she's like, yeah, sure. We settled on Van Halen's Jump. We actually went on a big Van Halen thing for that one for whatever reason, and it was great. And
Not
then
Panama. That's a driving song.
we did play Panama, but I tried to keep it. I was like, "Don't speed, Tom. Keep it together.
Yeah.
Keep it cool, kid." Anyway, so we stop at one set of lights before we're about to get back on the highway, and she's like, "Do you mind if we just go with the radio? I kind of want to hear what the weather's going to be like or some crap." I'm like, yeah, sure. So I turn on the radio, and as I'm doing that, I kind of sneak a peek at what's going on with my test to see how I'm doing. Turns out I had already passed, and she signed off on it and everything with a big like check mark. And as soon as the radio came back on, it was Loverboy's "The Kid Is Hot Tonight." I was like, this is right.
That's awesome. I remember this isn't a driving test story, but I remember, just speaking of me being paranoid of how I drove in video games, I remember there was one time that you came over to my old apartment, and I was playing GTA, and I was just driving down the freeway with a tank. And when you walked into my old apartment, you walked and you had a clear view into the living room, and it's just blasting Hotel California through the Bluetooth. The tanks just go down the highway. You're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever walked in on.
I was just happy wearing pants, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, that is totally fair. That was pre-COVID days, when now it's acceptable not to be wearing pants in your living room. So
happy times. Hey, Matvey Guskov had a couple points in his first ever KHL game.
Let's get back to hockey.
Well, we won't keep you too much longer, but yeah, 2 points. He was up there. I forget what team. Is he playing for CSA Moscow?
I think so, but I can double check here real quick.
Yeah, but whatever it was, 2 points, a goal and an assist, I think, in his first few games. So good for him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still property of the team technically. Or did they renounce him?
They renounced him because the picks came back from London, I believe.
Yeah.
So, which, I mean, for the brief few moments that he was a battalion, we were pretty excited for him. We had him on the podcast under 5.
I was about to say, what was he on the second or third episode?
I think it was the 5th.
It was fairly early.
Yeah.
We talked to him in Moscow.
Yeah, and he talked to us about the Lokomotiv tragedy.
Yeah,
his dad had played for them. And that's actually who he dedicated his first goal to, because it was almost on the anniversary of the 10th anniversary or whatever. And he does play for CSK Moscow, which he played 2 games for last year as well for them. But
for him.
3 games so far with CSK. He has 2 goals.
Wow.
So
good. He was ripping up the O. My goodness.
Oh, I mean, could you just imagine him? Well, him and Petrov are pals, right? So could you imagine them on a line together? Or
deadly.
Something?
That'd be deadly. But let's not sugarcoat things in ifs and whats and candy and nuts here. Listen, awesome for Guskov. We can't wait for training camp to I guess the regular season now to get going. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we still have a preseason.
Oh yeah, we have preseason.
Yeah, there is actual hockey. Owen Sound, as of the time of this recording, it is September 12th, and Owen Sound will be next Saturday at home, and then I believe Ottawa the next Saturday after that on the 25th, and then there will be about a week or so of nothing. But the Voodoos do open their season that week. They are opening their season, I believe, this week. Their home opener is Friday, October 1st. I got to give the Voodoos a bit of a plug there.
Get Dawson back on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like that guy, but whatever.
I do.
I'm just kidding. I'm just Josh and Chris, if you're listening to this. I sat down next to him actually after the Voodoos game up in the head coach's lounge upstairs, and I said there's a ping pong table, and he's sitting there doing his post game paperwork that he has to send off to the league, and I sat down next to him with a big slap on the back. I said, "Hey, it's my favorite person in North Bay sports media. How's it going, Chris?" He's like, "Oh, thanks, pal." So, but yeah, no, the Voodoos look like they're going to be deadly this year, and they open up their season, like I said, October 1st, and then the battalion the very next week, October 7th against the Peterborough Petes, and then October 8th in Tom's neck of the woods against the Super St. Marie Greyhounds.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. It really is. Hockey's back. Who knew? But I do have to say, last thing I'll say, and then we'll wrap this up because it's been us talking about driver's license too long.
Pushing it up a bit.
Yeah, you know what? This is welcome to the Frontline podcast. This is how we talk you through your driving license and test and
We're
all that
jack of
fun
all
stuff.
trades. You
Yeah.
need help with something, we got it. It may not be good advice, but we'll give it.
Well, you know, jack of all trades, masters of none. So,
Indeed.
anyways, the Voodoo's game on Friday against Kirkland Lake, they played the Gold Miners to a 2-1 victory in overtime, which was crazy that there even was overtime in the preseason. It was nice because the battalion have had scrimmages, and this was a real game. This was a real game against two different teams. They did not like each other.
Oh, no.
There was a lot of penalties. There's a couple of battalion prospects on the team, like Chase McQueen Spence. Rodion Tatarenko is a battalion pick as well. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty mean though. He's laid a couple of big checks there in neutral zone, and he had a couple of penalties. There was a kid on Kirkland Lake that got kicked out of the game because he had 2 checking to the head penalties, like in the span of like he had like a 2 and a 10, and then he went out and did it again and got kicked out of the game. So
That was smart.
this is preseason. This is preseason hockey. Like
Jumping.
and they all have to wear. They're all wearing fishbowls now in the Oj, I guess. I guess it's a new league mandate.
I would love it if they played in astronaut helmets.
Yeah, that'd be great. Another weird thing, and this is just the Canadian side coming out of me. They have to sing both national anthems at every NOJHL game now.
I have to talk to Rob Mazuka about that.
Yeah, ask him what's going on, Rob. So, yeah, it's exciting times to be a battalion fan because you got great players down in Powassan to watch. You got great players here in North Bay to watch, and Tom's a Timmins Rocks fan, but we won't try to hold that against him.
Sorry.
How does it feel every time that you interview Mr. Chris Dawson or someone about the Voodoos? Do you feel like you're betraying your team?
No, not at all. My dad's been a season ticket holder since day one, so I sneak in whenever I can sneak in a few games with him. It's a lot of fun, but I'm not bitter. The only time I felt like a super outcast was when they beat the Voodoos in overtime that one time. We were on the bus watching the feed on Facebook or some crap, and
In the playoffs, yeah.
I was the only guy cheering on that bus, and that was a bit awkward. But otherwise, it's been pretty okay.
I've always wanted to go to a game in the MAC, so I'm jealous. But
It's
yeah.
it's a pretty awesome place to play. It's loud.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 1,100 people at when you can stuffed in there, so it's pretty awesome. I like it.
Yep, no doubt. Well, Tom, we've been talking about licenses. We've been talking to Ty Nelson. We've been talking to Dalyn Wakely. We've been talking about the Voodoos. We've been talking about the Rock. What do you say we call it a night?
Let's do it. All right, another fantastic episode and a very talkative and adventurous episode on the Frontline podcast. He's Kortney Kenny. I'm Tom Parisi. Our intrepid producer, as always, is Ben Sargent, who's hopefully practicing his driving as we speak. If you want to listen to us, and if you're watching us on your TV, you can watch the full episode and catch up on everything, even more driving tips. Who knows what else we're going to talk about? Carpentry maybe next. How creepy we are at that.
Not very good.
And we'll see what else happens. But if you want to listen to us, find us on Google Podcast, Apple Music, and Spotify, and look for us on the North Bay Battalion website and all their social media. As for now, this was a lot of fun, and we'll do it again sometime.